What's going on, boys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Noxx, and today we're going to be looking over raid bots and Warcraft logs and figuring out how we can just improve our performance. It's more of a learning tool. So this came as an inspiration from a comment. Robert over here asked about his Malefic Raptures. He's only doing 3.7k per, but his sims are saying he should be doing 8.7k per. What's going on? So he sent me his logs and I wanted to have a look at them, right? So I chose Artifacts or Zymox because it is a fight with some movement and it is a single target fight. So there's no cheesing on ads or anything like that. This is just getting as much out of your character as possible on a single target with some mechanics going on. So it's a really great example. So the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out how much damage should we be doing, right? So you can jump over here to raid bots, you put your character name in, you put your server name in, make sure you have your single target talent selected. So you were logged out with, I think, Absolute Corruption or something like that, but I switched over to Siphon Life. Now I want to make sure that I have this fight length, or I'm sorry, this fight style set to light movement, right? So if it was just patchwork, that means you never have to move for a mechanic, you're stapled to the floor, and you're just doing damage. Now that gives you an inflated sense of what your character is capable of. On a fight like Zymox, where you have to move from traps, you have to move from the lines in the ground, you have to move from seeds, all of that. So I like to do light movement. You can have you can play around with the fight length here, and since this fight was 7 minutes, we could change it to 7 minutes. So how much damage could your character be capable of doing in a 7-minute fight? Loads real quick, and okay, 5k DPS, right? How much did you do? Okay, 2.9k. So I would say I would be very happy with 4k DPS or 4.2k DPS with this character on this fight length. I think that's a good goal, getting up to 4k. 4k DPS in this fight puts you at the top of your raid group. By the way, Juicy Smoothie, that's hilarious. That's amazing. So let's shoot for 4k DPS or close to it. So we click on your character and we can kind of get a general idea of what's happening here just by looking at this. So we can see your unstable affliction uptime is 80%. Your agony uptime is 94%. Your corruption uptime is 86%. And your siphon life uptime is 84%. Now, your goal as an affliction warlock is to get 95% plus uptime on all of these dots. On these first 4 dots, on your main 4 on a single target, especially with Zymox, that's pretty easy to do, right? Just make sure you're tracking your dots, set up a weak aura in some sort of way so you can easily see your dots on the target. You can see how long they are until they expire, and then refresh them within that pandemic window every single time. That way you get 90% uptime plus. That's a really great way to get a ton of extra damage without changing your gear at all, okay? And the other thing I like to look at is did this player die, right? Okay, you did. You died on extinction. So as a warlock, what you can do is you can actually set up your demonic circle here. If I go to the replay here. So if you set up your demonic circle, right here near one of the edges of the room, or just outside the circle somewhere, just wherever your guild tanks the boss, if they tank it here, if they tank it here, just kind of set it up somewhat near the boss, but in a safe spot. When that extinction comes out, when that annihilation comes and sucks you in, you can just sit there and DPS. You can let it drag you and sit there and DPS the whole time. And then just as it's about to go off, you teleport to your demonic circle and you're safe every time. And the cooldown is so short that you're safe from it on every single pull. No matter how many of those annihilates you get, you can do it, right? So just practice doing that. Just practice being really crafty with that demonic circle, and you'll be safe from death. So that's a good way to improve your damage right there. But going back to analyze, I'm going to click on you again. And we already talked about the dots thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually compare you to warlocks who did better than you on that fight. So we click on your character. It doesn't matter when these parses happened, but we want to look with fights within 10 seconds of this fight. We want to look at a similar raid size, and we also want to look at someone with similar item level. We'll click search, and I like to sort by percentage match. So what this does is it gives you as close to your character as possible from someone else. And I'll just do How about this first guy? Because he has the same trinkets you have, I believe. Okay, so now we're comparing the two of you. Okay, I'm going to translate this as well, so it's in English on both sides. Okay, so we can see on a very similar fight length. Okay, this is only 2 seconds apart on the fight length. He got almost 10 more Malefic Raptures than you did. He got 8 more. Okay. He casted Unstable Affliction more times, so his uptime was higher. So if you go to his casts, so his uptime was higher on Unstable Affliction. That's good. His uptime was higher on Agony. That's a way to get some damage. His uptime was higher. His uptime was actually lower on Siphon Life, so both you and this other player could improve there. But his uptime on Haunt was the big thing, right? So his Haunt is 73% uptime. Yours is 65% uptime. There's very few situations I can think of where casting Haunt on cooldown is a bad idea. So if I were you, I would just make sure you're tracking it. Just cast it on cooldown. You want to keep the debuff on 100% of the time. It's going to make those dots hit harder. It's going to make all of your Malefic Raptures hit harder. So that's a big deal, right? You seem to cast Phantom Singularity a similar number of times. You seem to cast Soul Rot a similar number of times, so that's good. You cast Erasal, so you're doing well there. Neither of you, it looks like neither of you potioned during the fight. So this fight is 7 minutes long. If you're using a potion on pull for your opener, you can definitely get another potion in later in the fight. And that's a pretty significant amount of intellect. And I would use it for your next dark lair or your third dark lair of the fight, because it's a 3-minute cooldown. So at about 6 minutes into the fight, you'll be able to potion again for that dark lair window. You'll be able to pump out a ton of damage there. That's a good way to get some extra DPS. So that's it, guys. Again, this is just using raid bots, which is again a free service. This is using Warcraft logs, again a free service, and you can look at your character and just compare yourself to people that are doing better to improve. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you like these kind of videos, let me know down below. And just so you guys know, I do have a Patreon now, so if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, that is one way to do it. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on Twitch at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Check me out, links in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time.